Welcome to the Knitting It Up podcast. My name is Annie. I'm going to be your host. It's been a little while since I've podcasted, so I'm a bit rusty, so don't hold that against me. I am Knitting It Up on Instagram and Apaaren on Ravelry. You can also find me on Facebook, Knitting It Up Yarns, and I'm the indie dyer behind Knitting It Up Yarns. So we're just going to dive in and basically get into what's been going on since I've last podcast. Not a whole lot, I want to be honest and say. I've, found some time to knit here and there, but Luke is almost 1 year old now. He's my little boy, and he's been taking up a lot of my time. He is running around and just full of energy, so it hasn't left me a ton of knitting time. I mainly just get to knit when he takes his naps. I could ramble on about Luke for a really long time, and I might do so at the end of the episode, time permitting, but right now we're just going to jump right into the knitting. I'll just tell you a little bit about myself since I have quite a few new viewers. I am 28 years old. I live in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, with my husband, my little boy, so I live close to Apaaren, which is my local yarn store, and I live in the city, so you're gonna hear some honking. I help with their with Apaaren live knit night occasionally. I'm one of the moderators, and I just spend a lot of time with those girls. They become really close friends of mine. The whole personnel that works there, basically. So that's pretty much a little summary of who I am. I've been dyeing yarn for almost a year now, and I would like to share with you later some of the yarn that I am dyeing right now, but some of the colorways. I've just completed my official palette, so that's going to be really exciting to be able to show you guys some consistency in colors, in shop updates, and what you can find at my wholesale store, which is La Maison Tricotée, which is also kind of a local yarn store to me. It's a little further east, but still very local. So that's it. That's my spiel. I'm gonna dive right in. I think we're gonna start with finished objects, because that makes sense, right? So given that it is almost Luke's first birthday, I decided to knit him a sweater. I used my own yarn in my Luke Can Waltz colorway, which I don't have a full skein of here, so I'll just show you the sweater. I just did basically the flax light, but it's the flax light without the shoulder arm detail, and the ends aren't woven in yet, but so that's the sweater. I alternated skeins just to guarantee that it looked, adequately speckled everywhere, that it was distributed properly. But yeah, I really do love the colorway. I made it with Luke in mind, with his blondish hair and blue eyes. I find it's a very nice compliment to him. So that's the sweater. It was very easy. I think this was the 1 year old size. It knit up super quickly. It's in fingering weight. It's a great beginner sweater pattern if you've never knit a sweater before. This is already blocked. It's all ready to go. I just have to weave in the ends, and hopefully he'll wear this to his first birthday, which we're doing a little party for him at my cousin's restaurant and one at home. So we'll see if he gets to wear that to the restaurant or at home. He seems to like it. He's dragged it across the room a few times, but that's a good sign, I guess, with a 1 year old. That's the first FO I have, and that didn't take me really long at all. The sleeves took me longer than the body, which is pretty much the story of my life. Then I had started the boho blush shawl, which is a pattern by Andrea Mowry. Oh, the Tin Can Knits are the ones responsible for the flax light, if you haven't seen a flax light or knit a flax light yet. So back to the boho blush. That's a shawl that I had been wanting to knit for some time now, and it had been on my Ravelry queue. And I finally just dyed a color that I fell in love with, and I said, okay, this definitely has to be a boho blush. So it's in my own yarns, which is the Knitting It Up Yarns, in my Her Morning Elegance colorway. And this is it. So it's changing a bit on camera. It's warmer than it's appearing, but just to give you an idea, we'll start at one end just so you get a better idea of how big this is. So that's the detail on it. Then we're gonna, all the way. So it's pretty ginormous. It's a lot bigger than I thought it was knitting it, but I had it squished on needles. So that happens when you do that. So just to give you an idea, try to move back a bit. So that's kind of how it looks on. So in the original pattern, you have to, well, you don't have to, but she suggests to add like some fringe detail. I think for now, I'm just gonna leave it as it is. And if I want to later, I could always add it. I'll just move the camera down a bit so you can see a bit more of it. Yeah. So it would look kind of like that with the fringe, but I think I'm worried with Luke that he's gonna pull on it a lot, or that I'm just not gonna like it with fringe. So for now, I'm gonna keep it with this. But the lace detail is really pretty. Like, it turned out much nicer than I even thought it would. And this is in my Hampton base, which is MCN, 80% superwash merino cashmere and 10% superwash merino cashmere, 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon. As I said, it kind of, the color's changing a bit. You get a better idea here. This is kind of a truer color, but when I bring it too close, it turns blue, or when there's too much of it on the camera, because I'm recording with an iPhone and you gotta work with me. But yeah, so that's a better idea of what that looks like. I think I'm going to like live in this for spring. So I'm pretty excited about it. I'm really enjoying it. Now that it's finally been blocked, I'll weave in the ends and I'll get to wear it. And yeah, love it. And I think it's really that kind of color that I'm drawn to lately, which is like creams and mauves, pinks, browns. I'm just feeling it for spring. I don't know. And it seems to be like more my palette right now. So yeah, that's a really enjoyable knit. I would say this is a little more difficult. There's a little bit of one color brioche, which is not very hard. If you've never done brioche, it's a pretty good pattern to start with. It's a little more difficult just because there's lace work and there's brioche, but if you've done both of those things, then it's pretty easy. It's a standard shawl. I really like the shape of it, and I think it just wears really easily. So yeah, I would highly recommend it. I've so far knit this and the Find Your Fade, both by Andrea Mowry, and I love both of those knits. I found them extremely enjoyable, and I would highly recommend them. So this is definitely one of my favorite things that I've knit this year, which I haven't knit much, so that's not really saying much, but I really like it. Then I decided this year that the only commitment I am willing to make to myself in terms of knitting is to try to challenge myself with the box of socks, which is 12 socks for the year, and it's usually a cal hosted by Vine, so Kristen. So I'm gonna try to do it. We'll see how it goes. So far I've knit 2 pairs of socks. These are not the right blockers for the socks, so I apologize, but it just gives you an idea. This is the first pair, and this is on my so the mini is by Woolberry Fiber Co, and then this color is my Paper Airplane color. And this is on my Monklin base, which is 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon. I've already worn them quite a bit, so they've stretched out, but yeah, just to give you an idea. And they're like so not on the blockers properly, but you get what I'm just trying to say. So those were my January pair. And what I'm doing is I have a really pretty calendar from Rifle Paper Co. that I'm matching every month to. Not necessarily color-wise, but I just take a picture of it. So if you follow me on Instagram, I've been matching them to the month that they correspond with. And then these are the second pair that I knit. This is Winter's Frost, which is a free pattern on Ravelry. by, I want to say her name is This Handmade Life, Danielle. I'm going to check that. Don't even listen to me. I will write it below for you. But yeah, so this is a free pattern. It was a really enjoyable knit. And I don't know if you can, if it's gonna zoom in. Let's see. To the lace detail. Anyway, it's gorgeous. The yarn is amazing. It was a Gilmore Girl club color from this homespun house. Or the homespun house. This Homemade Life, the homespun house, yeah. So this was a club color, so I don't think it's repeatable. But it was a Gilmore Girl theme, and this was called the Pop-Tart Dilemma and Coffee, Coffee, Coffee. Yeah, and if you know me, I am obsessed with Gilmore Girls, so that was a must. So, hit myself in the face with socks. So that was a completed pair for February, and they were kind of like Valentine's Day-ish themed. Let's see if I can stop it from totally... There we go. It's kind of better. Yeah, I'm working with the window directly in front of me, or the balcony, so you're going to see some reflections and stuff that are a bit out of my control. But yeah, so we're like 11 minutes in and I've ranted, so I should probably just slow down a little bit. But those are my FOs, so that's all I can really show you in terms of what I've knitted, which is not that much. I think I'll throw in my little rant here since we have an abundance of time. A lot of people are doing the Make Nines, which is kind of like a hashtag inspiration post made by Home Row Fibers, or Home Row Fiber. And Bethany of Woolberry Fiber Co. has started like a knit along for it, and everything Bethany does just inspires me and I want to take part of. But this one I'm going to not be taking part of, mainly just because I find the reason I'm not going to be doing a Make 9 this year is lack of time, and I'm worried that it's just going to create an immense amount of pressure on myself, an immense amount of disappointment. I constantly change my mind in terms of what patterns I want to knit, and I don't think I can be trusted to commit to 9 patterns. I'm a committed person in general, but when it comes to knitting, I change my mind a little bit more. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think the Make 9 is amazing. It's a great idea, and it's a great way to inspire yourself to get projects done. But honestly, I just feel like it's putting a lot of pressure on me. I've attempted to make them, the Make 9s, and then I've changed my mind. So I will not be doing it, but I give kudos to those who do and who complete them. It's amazing, good for you. But I'm just gonna focus on knitting in general. With a 1-year-old, I don't find there's a lot of time to sit down and complete 9 projects during a year. I might be wrong, we'll see how it goes, but I'm also dyeing a lot. I have to kind of choose where I want to balance my time. Do I dye yarn or do I knit? So for now, we're just gonna focus, take it a month at a time. I would like to be more committed to using my stash, which I think is a very feasible goal for me, and also to just sticking to a project. Like when I cast it on, take the time and enjoy the project and keep knitting it. There's nothing wrong with frogging it if it doesn't suit me anymore, but I'm just gonna focus on choosing the right projects for me in hopes that I don't frog them as much. There was a recent project that I started that I just completely changed my mind on. I think it was, I started it and then I changed, oh, the meandering shawl. I just messed it up and it upset me so much that I just couldn't look at it anymore, which is a shame, but that's what I mean by choosing projects that are conscious of what I'm doing this year. So I know that I'm doing a lot of TV knitting, I'm doing a lot of nap time knitting, and I'm doing a little bit of, you know, Luke playing knitting. So I don't really have I think the time to commit to something very challenging, and not that the meandering shawl was, but it required me to pay a little bit more attention once it got to the detail at the bottom than I think I was prepared to at that time. I'm gonna try to keep like one project on hand that's a little more challenging, that teaches me a technique, or that you know, just promote some learning. But for the most part, they're going to be projects that are a little less intense when it comes to learning or charts or techniques that I haven't really mastered yet. So that's my rant about Make 9. Nothing wrong with it. I think it's totally inspirational. It's a great idea. If I didn't have a 1-year-old, I'd probably be doing it. That's the summary. Sorry you had to listen through all that just to hear the summary. I'm gonna move on to works in progress, and my bag is over there, so I gotta go get one. I'll be right back. Okay, so as I said, I'm trying to do the box of socks. So in my beautiful tool and print bag, which I have covered with pins, I'll just show you the pins quickly. This one is falling off. Yeah, so these are just some of the pins that I have. I have a lot of pins on every different bag, but it's my beautiful bag. I'm obsessed with it. Thank you, Tiffany, for making amazing bags. So I started my March socks, which, okay, just to give you an idea, I use this bag primarily as a purse. So when I go out, I take it, and then in the bag lives another bag, which is a sock bag. And so this is my Sandy by the Lakeside bag for socks. So I keep my current work in there. So for March, I chose to do some stripy socks because, as you've seen, I did 2 speckles already. I kind of wanted something that would just kind of encourage me to knit them, and I find stripes are the way to do that for me. So this is the colorway I chose. And this one is the Love Potion colorway. It's in Harry Potter, I think, inspired colorway by Scrumptious Pearl, who is Samantha. So Samantha, it's gorgeous and it just screams spring to me. So I started a pair, and I don't make my socks particularly long just because I don't wear them if they're super long, but this is where I've gotten. So it's beautiful. I'm really loving it. I kind of wish I would have gotten like a coordinating mini just to put here, but it doesn't really bother me. I don't think it's gonna change anything. So I'm almost at the toe, and then I just put them down and haven't knit them for a while. But yeah, so these are gonna be my March socks. Hopefully they'll be done in time for March. If they're not, you know, it is what it is. And then I find my favorite part of the box of socks, Cal, is just, see, there's no pressure with that, Cal, because if I don't complete 12 pairs of socks, like, nobody cares. And it's not like I've announced that these are the 12 socks I will be making, and then I change my mind, and then it's disappointing. But my favorite thing about it is definitely choosing which yarn I'm gonna use next for the next month. So that's a lot of fun. And as you can see, I use 9-inch circulars to knit all my socks. These are Chiagu 9-inch circular with the red cord. I love them. I love 9-inch circulars. I would not knit socks if it wasn't for 9-inch circulars, and I'm dying of heat. So the 9-inch circulars, the thing about them, it takes a little time for your hands to adjust. Once your hands have adjusted, it goes swimmingly. I'm telling you, I've had nothing but good things to say. But as with everything, people have their preferences. People have, you know, reasons for liking them, reasons for not liking them. I do everything on them. I do the heel, I do the toe, I do the Kitchener stitch at the end. It's just everything is done with them, except for, you know, weaving in my ends. So I could not say enough good things about them. The Chiagu needles really made a difference. I had used the Haya ones before. I found them a little sharp, and the cord did not bend as well. This is, to me, the perfect cord. So maybe if you've tried 9-inch circulars and given up, it could have been, you know, just a brand preference. So maybe try the Chiagus. I'd say they're definitely worth it. Yeah, I just really enjoy them. All I can really say is they've changed how I knit socks. I find there's zero laddering, there's zero visible marks, you know. I just love them. So I highly recommend them. and I hope you let me know if you enjoy them. Let me know what your experience has been with 9-inch circulars. I don't know many people who knit with 9-inch circulars. The majority of people I know knit with magic loop, which there's nothing wrong with either. I'm not a big magic loop fan. I find that's the reason I don't knit sleeves. If I could do 9-inch circular for my sleeves, I would. I think that'd be a lot of stitches on there. So that's it. Those are my socks. So those are my March socks. Now, the reason that those have been lagging is because I cast on something else, as one does, and that has been distracting me. So I'll show you. I'll just zip it up so you can see it better. This is my Sandy by the Lakeside bag, and I have little pins on that. So it says, I'm just gonna try to get it to focus. So this one says one more episode. Then I have BB8. And then I have 2 pins that are from Clever Clove, which I have no idea if it's focusing. Give me some time to work out some kinks with this. It's a new camera for me. Well, it's a new iPhone for me, not a new camera, but. So the Clever Clove ones say, think of happy things and your heart will fly. And then I am not afraid of storms, for I am learning to sail my ship. So all those pins, besides the one more episode, were gifts from my mom for Christmas. So this bag is so precious to me, and it's the perfect size, and then the inside lining is just so pretty. It's one of her large bags, so like in comparison, if you haven't caught one of her shop updates, you need to. You just need to. Just trying to fix the bright. Okay, so I decided to cast on the cardigan, and I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. I know it's called the Belize cardigan. This was my color inspiration. So this is a yarn I dyed. This is in my Echo Beach colorway. So yeah, so that's it, with some nice, really nice speckles in there. Let's see if I can focus it. Yeah, just to give you a better idea. Yeah, so that was my main inspiration for the cardigan, and I tried to find something to match it. So initially, this is a stripy cardigan, so this would be the main color, and I initially matched it with Chasing Pavements, which is just like a silver gray. But when I was striping them, there was little to no contrast between them. So I frogged that pretty quickly, and I looked for something that had a little bit more. I'm just looking for my little swatch in case I can show you what it looks like knit up. But I don't know where it went. I will probably find it later when I don't need it. So instead of the silver, I decided to go with Cocoon, which is kind of a beigey brown, almost taupe color. So these had a lot more interest to stripe with, and I find these showed a lot better. So I'm not very far along. I've only kind of begun it, but this is kind of my nighttime knitting and my nap time knitting, when Luke is not running around. But this is what it looks like. So that's the color. So you see the speckles? That's what it looks like striped so far. So I'm really loving it. I was pleasantly surprised with how nicely my speckles are knitting up. I don't find them, you know, initially when I dyed it, I thought, oh god, I don't want it to look too speckly, but it doesn't. It looks perfect. So for a cardigan, it has like just the right amount of everything. So I'm really liking that, and I just dropped a whole ton in stitches. Yep. Okay, so I'll just tell you about it while I knit it, while I pick up the stitches. So it is a chop down construction of the cardigan is. And it's not very complicated. It's very simple so far. The stripes are very enjoyable and keep you interested and hooked. So it's gonna be my my first garment of the year. I've knit other garments before, but never really ones that I was super proud of. They all had kind of things that I would have changed about them, or little mistakes that I wish weren't there. So this is gonna be like, I'm trying to commit myself to making it like the perfect cardigan for myself. So that's been very fun to knit. I find that my goal kind of as an indie dyer is to make speckles that are wearable and to show you how to wear them in ways that aren't overwhelming. Because for me anyways, I had always been really attracted to speckles, but for things other than like socks, I never knew what to use them for. So I kind of wanted to show you guys that you don't have to be intimidated by speckles, and there's ways to tone them down and make them more neutral and wearable in everyday situations. Now, if you're somebody who wears bright colors and speckles, I'm so envious of you, but I'm not super adventurous when it comes to color that I wear in my wardrobe. I'm much more adventurous when it comes to colors in shawls, not so much in garments. So that's what I've been working on. I'll share with you some acquisitions. First, one of my favorite ones, which I'm sure if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen this a million times, but this is my Fringe Supply bag, Fringe Supply Co. bag that Alex got me, and he got me this from Hand Knit Yarn Studio in Hamilton, which they do online orders. And then these are the little pins that I've put on it. So I'm just gonna get it to focus. Anyway, I don't know if you can really see it, but the first one there is Sleeve Island, and that's from Tiffany of Twill and Print. And then you have Ray from Star Wars, some Rifle Paper Co., and Courage Dear Heart, which is a Clever Clove one. So that was my Christmas gift, and that was my bag. That was from my husband. So now I have two Fringe Supply Co. bags, one blue and one camo, and I'm addicted to them. I love them so much. So that was housing my boho blush shawl. I find it's a really good size for a big shawl pattern, so I'm gonna have to put in a new shawl in there soon. My dream knitting right now is definitely the Exploration Station by Stephen West, so maybe I'll make that my next shawl. I have some Wool and Vine yarn set aside for that. Then I had a happy mail day because I got some Nomadic yarns, and this is in her I Smell Snow colorway, which is Gilmore Girls inspired. So it's her trusty sock. There is 462 yards in this, which is nuts. 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and it's such a big ball. And it's so bouncy and soft. So love it. Silver, gold, teal, and white. It's gonna be beautiful. There's so much yarn in here that I feel like I could make multiple pairs of socks. So we'll see. Yeah, so this was a really nice surprise in the mail. Not that it was so much a surprise because I ordered it, but it was great to see it in person because I had never seen Nomadic yarns in person. I've always seen them on podcasts, so I'm really excited to knit it, and I'll let you know what month I use it for. I'm thinking it's probably going to be in September. I don't know why, but it's a September color in my head. Another little acquisition I got was this case from, so this is Jezebel, and she sells to Apaaren Co. So every time I go there, I've kind of been eyeing it, and as much as I wanted like one of her bags, I don't really need another bag at the moment, but I did need a needle case. So Velcro, warning. There we go. So this is what it looks like inside. So I think it's so pretty. It's very well made, and this was to replace my Addy case, which is not the best case in the world, and I haven't really been enjoying using it, so this is definitely an acquisition that I could rationalize in my head. Yeah, so they have these on the Apaaren Co. website, so I'm sure you could order them, and the material is just really nice. It's solid, and just, I don't know, it just spoke to me, and the leather detailing is really cute. So thank you, Jezebel and Espas, for that. Then I'll just speak quickly about these two things. When I went to see Asylum Fibers trunk show, I got to see some of her yarn in person. So I picked up this one, which is Transorbital, on her Funny Farm base, which is her MCN. So that's what it looks like. Yeah, so I just wanted to try her yarn, and I figured I'll probably make some socks with it or include it in a shawl. We'll see what speaks to me. But since she was there in person, I kind of wanted to support her and check out her beautiful yarn. And then we got to do like a little knit night with a bunch of girls from New York, which was really fun. I met a lot of new people that I had always kind of seen on Instagram, but I met them in person this time. So that was really, really fun. I wish Shamika could have came, but she couldn't. She was working, so I will have to see her another time, maybe at Rhinebeck next year, which I plan to go to, fingers crossed. Then when I went to Ontario, I scheduled a little meetup with Sandy and Amanda and Christina. Amanda of Yarn Enabler and Christina the Cozy Knitter. Sandy couldn't make it, unfortunately, but I still met up with Amanda and Christina, and Amanda gifted me some of her beautiful sparkly yarn. So this is the Yarn Enabler. There's the tag. And this is Shine Bright in her 84% superwash, 16% stellina, and it's quite nice and soft. Like for stellina, I find it really nice. Very nicely dyed. These colors are so pretty. And it's so not something I would buy, but when she gave it to me, I was like, yes, this is exactly what I've needed. So this will definitely become socks. I'm thinking they might be my July socks, like for my birthday. Some birthday socks, and this sound pretty epic. So that's about it for sash acquisitions. I'm not going to show you things that I've accumulated in the past that I have long forgotten about that live in my yarn cabinet, but I'll show you some of my yarns. So my shop update is coming up. It's going to be on Wednesday, so this should be up before then. So this was just to show you guys some of the colors that are going to be there. One of the things that I wanted to talk about in terms of my yarn is I do a yarn club every month. So this month for March, it is This Is Us, which is just closed, so you can't order it anymore. I'm going to show the yarn, so if you bought it and you don't want to see it, look away. But this is what it looks like. So this was the colorway for the month, and this is called Big 3. And they all look so different, but depending on how you skein them up. So if yours doesn't look exactly like this or has darker shades, then it's totally normal. I don't really write down what I'm doing. I just wing the colors of the month. But I am obsessed with it. Like, I think it should be a regular colorway. The speckles of like gold in there, so nice, and it's so soft. This is in my Monklin base, so my 8515. Yeah, I love it. So I hope you guys enjoy it, those who ordered it. And now, right now, if you want to participate in my Yarn of the Month Club, they're all pop culture based. So you can choose between Riverdale or The Handmaid's Tale, or you can choose both. Riverdale lost twice now on my voting, which I do every month. You can vote on my Insta stories. It had lost a couple times. So what I did was I just put it up as a bonus club. So if you want both, you can definitely do that. They'll ship together, so you save on shipping. But it should be really fun. The Riverdale color and the Handmaid's Tale too. Like, really nice. But I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. And this show is, I enjoy it so much, and even though it makes me cry. So I'm a big This Is Us fan. Now, in the shop right now, if you go to my shop on Etsy, you will find kits for the Aura shawl, which is a pattern by Boylan Knits Caitlin Hunter, and I have made kits for it. Right now I don't have that many kits posted. There's 2 to choose from, and there's a limited amount of each, but I'll just show you what they look like. I'm gonna have to wrap it up because Luke and Alex are back from their walk. But yeah, so this is the first kit. You might hear some baby. So this is the first kit. This is the romance kit. So these are the 2 full skeins of color for the shawl. So you'll get this one, which this is my new color. It's called the Suburbs. Just to show you what it looks like. So there's, yeah. And then the second color is her Morning Elegance, which is what I used in my boho blush. So these are the full skeins. And then you need 2 minis, which I will send you 30-gram minis of these 2 colors, which is Cocoon and Material Girl. So that's the first option for your shawl. And, or you can get the, so that's the one I'm calling the Romantic Kit. And this is the Magnetic Kit. And this is more like a neutral with a pop of color. So the first full skein that you would get is Dancing in the Dark. And the second one would be, sorry, Pop Thieves. And then the 2 minis are Chasing Pavements and Magnets. So those are the 2 options for the shawl. Those are dyed to orders. The reason I like dyed to order is because it gives me enough time to dye the yarn, knowing what quantities I need to dye. So it's nice to be able to dye the exact number that I'll need instead of just kind of guesstimating, and then if they don't sell, it's kind of a shame. So I like to do dyed to orders personally. But yeah, so this is my new obsession color. Like, I'm obsessed with this. So this is, again, the Suburbs, and this will be in my shop update. If you just want this, there will be some. There won't be a lot. So if this is like an update where you expected to get sweater quantities, it's not that. But it's going to be good for single skeins. So I'll just go through some of the shop update quickly, and then I'll call it a day. But this is the, this is just like a one-hit wonder, which are my non-repeatable colors. And this is just some mauve that I was playing around with, mauvey pink. Came out pinker than I intended. So these will be available, and I think I have 3 or so. So, and these are my Hampton base. Then I'll have Nolita Fairy Tale, which is on my Hampton base. I will have, so because I've created palettes, there's going to be a lot of one-ofs, but you'll get to kind of put together your own kits, if you will. So, for example, this could be really pretty as a shawl. This is yarn everywhere. This is Marilyn Monroe, so it's a goldish mustard. This is I'm Yours, like a minty aqua. This is Jolene. Then I have some Fun DK, not a lot because I just ordered it in a small quantity, but I will definitely have more in future updates. I really like this base. So this is Hopeless Wanderer on DK. It's getting blown out a little bit, but it's Hopeless Wanderer. Then I will have some single ply, the Crown color, which was a club color that I really enjoyed, so I brought it back. I changed it a little bit, so it's a little less gray, but that's the Crown on single ply. Then I will have, like I said, so some like one-hit wonders, some things that you won't see again, but I'll have Ophelia. And some of the colors you might have seen before look a little different. That's because my recipes have changed. These are going to be the kind of what they look like from now on. Manhattan, which is one of my favorites. I will have Casio. This I haven't dyed in a while, but I'll have some Suki, which is Gilmore Girl inspired. I might have some of this, we'll see. Songbird, which is very popular right now, so I can't seem to keep enough of it. I will have some Enchanted. Ooh, that's more accurate. Enchanted. Bad Liar. Sunday Morning. Yeah, that's more accurate. Yeah, so I have a bunch basically. So I hope you come and check it out. It's going to be Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. This is Valerie. And I'm going to have some just like one-hit wonders. So I might just do like a special code because there's so many single skeins that if you want to buy more, if you buy 3 or more, I'll do free shipping, which is, I mean, a great incentive. So yeah, I hope you check it out. I know I'm a bit rusty with the podcasting, so I hope you've sat through this and appreciated it. I will try to podcast again soon, and I will try to work out some of the little kinks. Overall, I think it went pretty well. I've enjoyed spending some time with you, and now I'm rushing through it a bit because my baby's over there. But yeah, so I'm going to include some videos of Luke at the end if you felt so inclined to stick around and watch them. Otherwise, have a great week. Happy knitting. And I hope you check out my shop update on Wednesday. So, bye all. See you soon.